வேதான் சேனல்.
வாழ்க வையகம் வாழ்க வையகம் வாழ்க வளமுடன். குரு வாழ்க, குருவே துணை.
Now we are going to see the topic as implantations. Implantation is the process of the embryo fix itself to the anterior posterior wall of the uterus body. It is also known as nidation. Implantation means it's one of the process. It's taken that embryos take that fix in itself to the anterior or posterior wall of the uterus, that is in the endometrium. It is attached to the endometrium, that is called as implantations, also known as the nidation. And blastocyst reaches to the then it is free of 2 to 3 days. Blastocyst reaches to the uterus reaches to the uterus, then it free of 2 to 3 days, and then blastocyst form as troboblast, then it start fixing and implantations. So after reaching the blastocyst, after reaching the uterus, it is having the 2 to 3 days here. It's as a blastocyst, then it's go form as a troboblast, and after forming the troboblast, it start to taken the fixing or implantations. And fertilization process on 6th day of the polar troboblast cells adjust to the inner cell mass or molar like projection is ready to additions to the endometrial cells. After the 6th day, that means after fertilization, after the fertilization 6th day, that polar, the troboblast cells, it's form as a polar, and that inner cell mass as a molar like projections from the side of the inner cell mass form a molar like projections. This part it's ready to addition to the endometrial, that is endometrial cells, it's having the uterus. So this part molar projection is ready of the inner cell mass, that part only it's ready to fixing the endometrial cells of uterus. And the stages, implantation stages, now we'll see that it's having the 4 stages. First one is supposition, and second one is addition, and third one is penetration, fourth one is inversion. In the consist of the 4 stages, it's taken place in the during the time of the implantation of the embryo inside of the endometrial wall of the uterus. This is a complete process of ovum production to implantation. And this is a ovary, that is primordial cells are getting the mature ovum after production of this is the production of the ovum. That's embryo only will carry the ovum, and after carrying the ovum, it goes to get that fertilization. After fertilizations, that it's getting that fertilization. After getting that fertilizations, 2 cell stage, 4 cell stage, and formations will be occur, morula formations, and next go for the blastoma. This is the process, complete process of the implantations from starting to ovum production to implantations. This is the anterior wall of the uterus. In that side of the anterior wall of the uterus, only it's taken place in that most of implantation of the embryo. To see that apposition, the stages of implantation. Apposition is trobactodon microvilli interdigitate with the residual cell of uterus, then it form junctions. Means that trobactodon the protections will be occur, and it will be integrated with the residual cells of the uterus, then it form the junctions will be formations occur, and in endometrial cell form pinopore. Through pinopore, the nidations occur. These pinopores absorb the endometrial fluid by endometrial cells. This endometrial cells it's having the pinopore, means once like projections like will be present because of this getting ready for the nidations. This pinopores only it's getting absorbed the endometrial fluid by the endometrial cells. So after that, it formation of the pinopores. And next, additions of sticky of blastocyst in the endometrium occurs by the additions molecule like integrin, selectin, and cathepsin. That additions occur because of that some molecules getting the additions. Integrin and selectin and cathepsin, it's secreted from the endometrium, occur in that endometriums. This is only used for that getting addition of the cells. And next, penetration and invasion. The penetration and invasion takes place of the after secretion of the glycoprotein and enzymes. This enzymes is getting erosion of the epithelium, then it takes the invasions. After getting that erosion of that epithelium, it takes place in the invasions. Erosion means that endometrium is getting the erosion, and then after that cells tuberculacted and that all that it will be getting that fixed with the endometrial wall, then it will be invading, that is the invasion. During invasion, endometrial cells allowing the blastocyst to sink into the endometrium. After invasions, after getting the invasion of the blastocyst, the trophoblast and various content, inner cell mass, all the things is getting inside of the endometrium, then it will be getting the sink into the endometrium. And this process will occur on the day of 11 to 13 day after ovulations. After 11 and 13 day of after ovulations occur in that implantation takes place in the uterus. And post-implantation alterations. Post-implantation alterations is the endometrial layer involved in the process of implantations. Endometrial layer only is getting that involved in the process of implantations. During the time pregnancy, the endometrial layer is also called as residua. After the implantations, the endometrial layer of the uterus is called as decidua. It's increased 4 times of its original thickness cause of increased estrogen secretion. Because of increased estrogen secretions will be there, so only that decidual layers, that inner layer of that uterus, that is the endometrial layers, it is increases 4 times. That's the original thickness. It is increased, so only it's getting that residua, and so it's different from the normal endometrium. It's not like a normal endometrium, it is different from the normal endometrium. The role of progesterone secrete from the corpus luteum stimulate the endometrial gland and increase the size of the maternal blood vessels. Estrogen is a part of role is to increase the thickness of the endometrial layer, and progesterone is a part of role is it is getting that corpus luteum stimulate the endometrial glands and increase the size of the maternal blood vessels. Maternal blood vessels, if blood vessels it's getting blood supply in the uterus, increased blood supply only, that all the blood supply will be occur for the fetus as well as to the uterus. They need it occur, so only the maternal blood vessels should be getting that increased supply of the blood, so that role will be done by the progesterone. And next, implanted fertilized ovum is an soft, vascular and spongy bed. It is after implanted fertilized ovum, it is getting a soft, vascular and spongy bed. After implanted, the inner layer of the uterus is called decidua. It is divided into 3 parts. After getting that implanted in that fertilized ovum, that it's having the 3 types of decidua. The 3 parts of the decidua. The decidua is decidua basalis, decidua capsularis, and decidua paritalis. These 3 types parts of decidua is having in that part of after implanting the ovum. It's forming the 3 parts. And first one is decidua basalis. This is the basic part embryo attached to the endometrium. Also, underneath the site of implantation of the embryo, most of parts covered by the maternal layers. Decidua basalis, this is basic part of the embryo attached to the endometrium. Most of the part it's attached in the basalis only, and that's this is site of the implantation of the embryo also. Most of the part in the basic part it's attached with the maternal layers. If you are seeing this is that base decidua capsularis. This part is the decidua capsularis, and this is amnion, and this is chorion. This part is chorion. This layer is chorion. Its outer layer. Inner layer is the amnion, and next it is this is decidua. Decidua. This is not the decidua endometrial layer. This all it's a decidua, and this part is the decidua basalis. Most of the part it's covered by the decidua basalis, and this part it's covered in the decidua parietalis. This capsularis part of decidua. So these three main parts will be having in the decidua. And decidua capsularis in this type of decidua covering between the embryo and uterine cavity. It's surrounding the remaining part of embryo. Decidua capsularis size will increase during the time increase the gestational age. According to the gestational age, that size will be increase the capsularis size by the end of fourth month. By the end of fourth month, uterine cavity is effaced. Here in the end of the fourth month, uterine cavity, it means it is gap will be having because of fetus it will be developing. So the uterus also is getting to increase the size of the uterus. Then only the fetus accommodate with the uterus. And next, the last one is decidua parietalis. It is the fused part of decidua capsularis. It also the rest of basalis and capsularis part. Other than that, decidua basalis and capsulary parts, we are telling the decidua parietalis. Thank you. வாழ்க This is a short, brief process of implantation. This blastocyst falls into the uterus. At 2 to 3 days, it's waiting for this getting the implantation. And in trophoplast, that is over the inner cell mass, both it will be forming in that blastocyst. And in this trophoplast, it's formed in the quickly streaky and adherent to the endometrium. Then it leads to begin to secrete the enzymes and leads to erosion of the epithelium. It leads to allowing the blastocyst to sink into the endometrium. Blastocyst it's getting sink into the endometrium of the uterus.